and we want to talk about artificial intelligence. But just to help us set the tone for what we're going to be doing, um, this workshop is designed specifically for ministry leaders. So we could have done this and invited business leaders, marketplace people, guys who are selling, brand people, shop owners, supermarket owners, different kind of people. But we really wanted to tailor the conversation around ministry growth, around church growth, around finding expression for the gospel out there. So we're very, very intentional that this is not just a public and open meeting. It's specifically for those who are involved in ministry. And there's a scripture that I'm going to start with that says, I think Proverbs 21:31, it says, the horse is prepared for battle, but victory belongs to the Lord. The horse is prepared for battle, but victory belongs to the Lord. Now, what this means is, even in time of battle, we understand that it is the Lord who gives victory. And even when we know that victory comes from the Lord, it does not cancel the fact that the horses still have to go for battle. So what the scripture says is, we're not depending on horses for battle, for victory rather. We're not depending on the strength of our chariots. I mean, this is some trust in chariots, some trust in the horses. We trust in the name of the Lord our God. Even though our trust is in the name of the Lord our God, we still take chariots and horses for battle. And we don't just go to the battle unprepared. We still go prepared. So we prepare for battle as if victory depends on the horses, but we know that victory comes from God. Now, how does that apply to us? We understand that ministry growth is driven by the Holy Spirit. So we understand that church growth, expansion, influence, all of these things are actually driven by the Holy Spirit. But even though the Holy Spirit is the primary driver of these things, it does not mean that we will not acquire the skills and the tools needed to drive it. So, I am in ministry. I have an assignment, and I know that by the strength of God, this is going to work. Oh, yes. Growth comes from the Lord. However, there are tools that the Lord will use. Even though God is going to give victory, God will still enable us to use horses and chariots. So the same chariots that are not the source of victory, but they are the vehicles that the Lord will use to give victory. So what we're here is, and I love the way Pastor Nee said it, so that we're not playing catch up. We live in a very noisy world. We're trying to get the attention of people for the gospel in a world that is very noisy and full of information. Everybody is trying to get the attention of everybody. Coca-Cola is there. The banks are there. The airlines are there. Transport companies are there. Food brands are there. Influencers, fashion people are all there. Everybody is trying to get the attention of the world. And we come into the same world with the gospel. And sometimes we just assume that because the Lord is on our side, with or without horses, with or without skill, with or without tools, we'll get victory. And that's what we want to address today, that we understand if Coca-Cola is using artificial intelligence, if Zenith Bank is using artificial intelligence, if Harvard University is using AI, what stops us from using the same tools? And that's basically what we want to address today. And the second point I want to make before we actually go in, so we're going to have our first session come up in like 5 minutes. So Banji is going to give us like an overview of what AI is and what has AI achieved in the past and where is AI going in the future. So our first speaker is Mr. Banji. Is going to share with us once I'm done with this. But just before he starts, I want to lay a foundation because I talk about AI a lot in conferences. And there's a general response that I get. And it's the response that, oh, but this thing is of the devil. This thing, is it not replacing the Holy Spirit? And so I usually give them the scripture, Colossians 1:16. For in him, all things were created, things in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or powers or rulers or authorities. And I underline, all things have been made by him and for him. The simple fact is this: the devil does not own anything. All things have been created through God and for God. Meaning every technology, says whether they be visible or invisible, whether they be thrones, powers, rulers, or including every technology that exists, was created by him and for him. So even if the devil and his people are using AI for things, even if people who don't look like God, who are not on God's mission, are using these technologies, it does not mean that they own it. The Bible lets us know everything was created by God, including AI. So that gives us the confidence to use technology, understanding that these things were made by him and for him. And because they are made by him, everything created was preconceived. They were made by him. He thought about it. He knew that a day was going to come where we will need tools like this. There's an assignment I'm going to give Emeka. There's an assignment I'm going to give Sobi. There's something that Nee is going to need to do. And that day, it's going to be a very noisy world. They will need a tool that actually enables them to cut through the noise. I understand that my son Ememobong is going to walk in a generation that is full of busyness. I understand that James is going to be requiring to work in a time when his hands will be full. The things I need him to do should normally take 2 weeks, but I'm going to create a tool ahead of that time that enables him to do in 20 minutes what should have taken him 2 weeks to do. And that is why God preconceived technology. These things were all created ahead of time so that when the time comes, you will be able to use them to achieve the purposes of God. Unfortunately, that day comes, and then maybe Niyi is not aware of what God has created. Maybe Gilbert is hearing for the first time that there's something that God has created that can enable him to do his work faster. Or Ememobong is wondering, this thing belongs to the devil. It does not look like what we shoot for the gospel. That's why we are having this conversation today. Everything was created with a plan. They were preconceived. Nothing is an accident. That these technologies are coming out today and at this time, there's no accident. God knew and prepared for a time like this. And not just were they preconceived, they have a purpose. You get why? Everything created has a purpose. So ChatGPT, not only was it preconceived by God, it was created for a purpose. There is something that we needed to do. Every tool that we're going to be learning over the course of these 2 days and how to use them, there is a purpose. And when the understanding of purpose begins to align with mission, it's just going to be like scales are falling off our eyes. Many things that we struggle to do, all of a sudden, we will be able to do them with ease, with speed, with greater effectiveness, and it's just going to be amazing. And so, what is this tool that we're saying God preconceived and created? Is a tool called artificial intelligence, technology, and AI. Basically AI, but across the course of our conversation, we'll be sprinkling these tools back and forth. Basically, what is AI? I'm not going to define AI. So I'm going to get Mr. Banji to come and talk to us about artificial intelligence for just about 15 minutes. And then we're going to go into the next thing. So for the next 15 minutes, what is AI? Of course, just the simplest explanation, technology that mimics human intelligence. But Mr. Banji is going to walk us through a short journey to understand what are the types of AI, what are the classifications of AI, what is the present day AI available, and what does the future of AI look like. It's important that we understand where we are so that we also know what to anticipate, so that when things begin to happen, they don't take us by surprise. I love what he said. We should not play catch up. The church cannot afford to play catch up. All things were made by him and for him. The owner of the creation, we are the ones working for him. How can people who don't work for him be using his creation ahead of us? That is an error, and we're going to stop that error today. So join me to make welcome right now Mr. Banji, who is a member of our team at Early Found at Dave Shub. This meeting is organized by Dave Shub. So Banji is a member of our team at Dave Shub and is going to be taking us on a short journey through the evolution, the present day, and the future of AI. So just with whatever, put your applause in the chat box and let's welcome Mr. Banji as he takes us on the next 15 minutes. And if you have questions, you feel free to drop your questions in the comments. Whatever he's saying and you don't understand, just drop it. And after he's done, we are easily able to pick up on that and we can move on to the next thing. So yes, Banji, you have the floor. Over to you.
All right, sir. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for having me. Thank you, sir. Please, can you give me permission to be able to share my screen? I think
You have permission to share already.
Okay. Um, I think the Zoom that I'm using is quite okay. Okay. Uh, Sorry, just a second, sir. I think I may have to join with another. I joined with Zoom, web Zoom, and settings.
Banji, are you having troubles?
All right.
Hello?
Okay. Sorry, I think your account is what is logged in on my system. So I was trying to revert back to my own, but I think I'll just probably use this then. Uh, we get on now. So sorry for that network issue. Can everybody see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yes. Okay. Thank you again for having me. And I think this is an honor, sir, for having to bring your boys here to come and speak on a subject like this. So thank you again. So basically for the next 15 minutes, we'll just probably we'll run through what artificial intelligence is and the types, the categories of artificial intelligence. And I think it's a very important conversation in our age and time now because the truth is the way we've been doing things in the past is no longer going to be what we'll keep doing. So still the same mission, the same message, but different strategy. And the truth is our ability to be able to use the tools that are available to us now is will also determine how much results that can be amplified by the Spirit, because of course we have the Holy Spirit, but the truth is there is a part of us that needs to be played. So I'll just start off by saying that using a message I heard from I think it was Kenneth Copeland while he was preaching, and he said God has waited for his children several years ago, has waited that he wanted to give them microchip, this same microchip that became a thing as regards computer, and he was diligently waiting and waiting and waiting that his children would open up to it. And when he could not, and because it was high time that the world experienced computing, he said when God had looked and waited for his children and he didn't see it coming, what he simply did was their technology is due. So he had to just go to anybody who is prepared for it. So what it simply means is that whatever opportunity we are getting at this age and time, right? So God has a plan, God has a purpose for why it is here. And the truth is, it is for the propagation of his gospel. It is for the propagation of what he has designed for his people. So how is artificial intelligence coming in this conversation? The truth is, the way, just like I said, the way we've been doing things have changed. Intelligence, artificial intelligence is now a tool that we need to be able to reach out to more people, to be able to reach out to help us fulfill our mission, basically. So help us reach out to more people, especially the young people, people who by default we cannot reach by all by ourselves. The energy to Bible says we should go out into the world and preach the gospel simply means even from where you are, you can reach the entire world. And that is one of the reasons why artificial intelligence is just there to make these things simpler, to help us get this thing done faster, as the call to whatever it is we are doing is also an urgent call. And we need every means to be able to get it done as fast as we can. So artificial intelligence is simply machines that are mimicking human cognitive functions like learning and problem solving. So what it simply means is that we have machines that are thinking, that are being programmed to think like humans and do the things that humans can do, basically. So we have these machines that functions like learning and what problem solving. So these things are solving problems at a faster speed, at the speed at which because the truth is the way the world is going right now, things are moving very fast. And we also want to be able to catch in on that fast pace because the truth is, um, like that song he said, Elijah level, right? We are running as if we are running a Ferrari. So the world keeps changing and evolving, and we also need to be able to catch in on what the intelligence that is at play, and also use it to propagate the gospel. So artificial intelligence is simply machines that are mimicking human cognitive functions. So, and the goal is to help us solve problems, or at the end of the day, help us do what we do much faster and in a better way, right? So, the truth is, why is it important? Why is this conversation important, right? Why do we need to understand the types of AI that exist or the type of artificial intelligence that exists? Because the truth is, not every tool out there is what you probably need for what you need to do. So there are tools that align with where you are going. There are tools that makes your own peculiarity or the kind of work you do very, very easy and faster. So the truth is, we have this artificial intelligence and we have different types of it. So we have artificial intelligence, we can categorize them, or we can categorize them into two major groups. Number one is the capability-based types of AI and the functionality-based types of AI. So what it simply means is that capability, from the word capability, it simply means what they are able to do, right? So because of what they are able to do, we have under that particular umbrella what we call narrow or weak AI. Narrow or weak AI. We also have what we call general or strong AI, and we have super intelligent AI. Super intelligent AI. And on this other end, where we have the functionality-based types of AI, we have what we call reactive machines. Machines that react based on what has been deposited. So that machine is simply reacting based on the data and the configuration of that particular of what has been the configuration or the data configuration of that particular system. So we also have what we call the limited memory net AI, right? So I will explain a few of these in a bit, and then we have theory of mind AI, and we have self-aware AI. So the capability-based AI, these are super intelligent things. These are things that, of course, we are also growing into, right? As a people, there's a lot of innovation that is going on within that space. But for now, we have more of functionality-based types of AI that are already in the mainstream, that are already being used by a lot of people, right? So just like I said, we have the narrow AI, the weak AI, the generative, general or strong AI, then we have the super intelligent AI. And I said capability based AIs are just these ones that are categorized based on their abilities and the range of tasks that they can perform, right? That they can perform. So narrow AI, so like I said, right, is the today is the most common form of AI, which is already being used in many areas, including church settings, and it excels in performing tasks. So simply say specialized in single tasks. So narrow AI or weak AI are AI that are just being used for simple, specific tasks. For example, I don't know if some of us here use what we call phones, iPhones, right? So on the iPhone, if you know this signal, this Siri. So Siri is more like a virtual assistant. We have Alexa. Alexa is an AI system for homes, right? That are being used. It's being that technology is from Amazon, right? So you talk to your door opens on its own. by just your voice or by giving voice to something, that thing responds to you, right? So Alexa, a virtual assistant tool that can perform, right, specific tasks like setting reminders and answering questions, right? So you can ask your Google Voice and ask, okay, what time is it? In fact, you can even have conversations, right, with these AI tools. But the truth is, even though they are AI, even though they are also limited, and that is why there's the word narrow or weak in that in its context here, because they only rely on specific data that has been given. Then we also have what we call the general or strong AI, where theoretically, right, these AIs could perform intellectual tasks a human can do, basically a woman can do. But the truth is, there is still no real use case for the general or strong AI at the moment because the world is still developing and we are trying to get these machines right to be able to come to life and have already we're already seeing examples of AI machines or tools that are already thinking like human. Some that are already the data they are being fed with is already giving them emotions. They can understand when they are sad. You can ask them questions based on configuration and data and all that. So, but the truth is that is where the world is going. That is where the world is going. And there's what we call the super intelligent AI, right? So hypothetically, this super intelligent AI surpasses human intelligence. So the ability to be able to think far beyond how human beings reason. Well, this is also still what the world is working to do at the moment. So there's this company by Elon Musk where this company called Neuralink, right? Neuralink is also what they are doing basically there is that they are building microchips that can connect with the human brain at the very high level where the brain itself, the brain can connect with this chip and can download information at the speed of light. So these guys are doing amazing things to ensure that the world is not the same. And the truth is, if these tools are being created, we need to ask ourselves the question, how does this tool become what we also use to also propagate the gospel? Then I really want us to look at this because, like I said, there are four types of AI. Number one is the reactive AI, we have limited memory AI, we have theory of mind, and sorry, I think I messed that up. Then we have theory of mind, and then we have yes, we have theory of mind. So reactive simply here simply means spam filters. So for example, these are examples of reactive spam filters. So for example, how when Truecaller, for example, Truecaller or your emails, let's use your emails. So how do Yahoo or Gmail know that this particular email is supposed to be a is a spam email? This email has there's something fishy about this email, and they put it in your spam because they don't want you to click on those links because there is something fishy about it. That is an AI working, and that AI is simply using specific tools and just reacting. So that's why it is reactive, right? That email comes in. The AI checks through the email, reads through the email, and said, no, this thing is not right. Reacts to it. So spam filters, somebody calls you, maybe what's it called? Your true caller, for example. I think that one is more closer to us. So you have true caller app on your phone, and someone calls you and they tell you this is spam, right? This is spam, this is spam. Something is actually behind the scene that is reacting because that call came in, that thing has run the AI itself or the engine or the machine behind has gone through and seen that this thing is not looking like what it should be. This there's something fishy about this, and what happens? They tell you that this is a spam. Of course, we also have chatbots. How many of us? I know a couple of us must have tried to reach out to a customer support before, or and then you tell the system to do X Y Z, and you are asking or reaching out to a support team, and an AI is responding and they will respond. Sometimes, if you are not careful, you may not even know that you are actually chatting with an AI, but they are only reacting based on what data or the kind of data that they have been fed with, right? So another one is recommendation, right? engines from Spotify and Netflix. For some of us who have Spotify and Netflix on our devices, right? So you just play a music on Spotify. Maybe you are new. You play Dunsin Oyekan, for example. I'm very sure the next music that will come up, if you have played Dunsin Oyekan for like, let's say, 10 times, let's say, right? After the 11th time, I'm very sure that the kind of music they will bring to you, you will not so suddenly hear one secular artist, for example. You will not suddenly hear Burna Boy on your playlist because there's an algorithm that is checking those things. And there's an AI that is just strategically putting the kind of music that you want. If you are someone who loves action movies on Netflix, I can tell you for sure that recommendations that you'll be getting will basically be what? About action movies, action movies, action movies. So that is so those are reactive AIs. Those AIs are reacting to the feedback that they are also getting from it or from the data that they've gotten, right? So the second one is we have limited memory. Limited memory is generative tools. For example, we have generative AI tools. For example, many of us we know ChatGPT. I don't know, maybe a few of us must have used it before, but ChatGPT, right, is a generative AI tool. So you ask a question, the question that so there's what we call web scraping. So what it does basically is once you ask ChatGPT a question, it goes online, searches the entire engines where searches have been made, where articles have been written in a split second or in matter of seconds, right? Collect data together and present those data to you. So what it simply does is it goes online and look for relevant information and puts that relevant information together. So, and that is why we say it has limited memory because it can only respond based on the number of access or the quality and the quantity of data it can also access, right? So ChatGPT simply goes online, pulls the data together, and presents it to you. We also have tools like generative AI tools like Gemini, like Bard AI. These were designed by Google as well. So most people are now even some companies are also coming up with different generative AI tools. We have image generative AI tools as well, right? So we have all these tools. There will be a section where we also discuss that. Of course, limited memory is also an example of it is self-driving cars. So right now the world is going into seeing that um, more comfort is being provided, more ease, right? So it has gotten to the point where we don't even need to go through the stress of driving. So the system that governs that, right, also understands how the road network looks like, also understand what is ahead, understand, so can read the environment, and based on what the readings it has, it can make decisions for you, right? And of course, we have virtual assistants. So virtual assistants where you try to reach out to a support, for example, like we said, you try to reach out to a support, they respond back to you, and you discover that it's an AI that's giving that feedback. So you ask, hi, the AI responds, good afternoon, how can I be of service? How can I help you? You respond that my account has been blocked. So the AI tells you, okay, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this to be able to get your account restored back. And they even begin to talk. You more or less confuse them for human beings, right? So that is how deep, right? These systems too have been, even though at this very depth too, they are still classified as limited memories. Limited memories. And of course, the third one, we have what we call the theory of mind. The theory of mind is simply understanding the needs of other intelligent entities. So the theory of mind is not in play yet, right? It's not in play yet, because but this is where the future is. This is where the future is. We want to get these systems to be able to become intelligent entities on their own, that they can think for themselves, they can think on their own, and they can act on their own. And basically, that is what theory of mind, right? That is another type of AI that the world is walking into, and that's the future. That's the future. Then lastly, we have
Self-aware. The self-aware category.
Not sure it's still on. He's not saying anything again.
oh, sorry, I think I my mic, or is it my mic or my network? So evolved. So self-awareness, right, is these machines, this AI has evolved to have human-like intelligence. That means they can think like us. They can also have emotions, like they can have feelings, they can feel what we feel, right? So they also have a mind of their own. They can make decisions on their own without human beings. They can make so most of what we still have now, right? They are being guided. So they will only function within the bounds of the data that they have. But at this level of theory of mind and self-awareness, the truth is these machines can now begin to make decisions even on our behalf, even on our behalf. So that is where the world is going. That is what we hope to see in the near future, and basically that is where we are. So I would so that I don't take too much time, I will probably just end there while I allow the other speaker to also come up so that we can also get that bit, this other bits going. But basically, if you ever forget anything, reactive, limited memory, theory of mind, and self-awareness. The truth is, this is where the world is going. And we need to be able to use these tools, understand how they work, and also use it to drive what we do. So thank you everyone for listening to my very small pep talk. And I hope you got one or two things from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Banji. That was amazing. Thank you so much. You just laid a fantastic foundation for us to build on. At least having listened to Mr. Banji and understood what he's been explaining, you know that AI is not rocket science. It fits into a framework we understand. And for me, the biggest lesson here is that this guy called AI is just beginning. We're actually just starting the journey. So if we think we've seen anything, guys, brace up. Stuff is going to happen. I mean, in the 4 categorizations, the first two categories actually have applications. The other 2 categories are still theoretical, meaning things are going to be happening. It's going to be an evolving space. And whenever I talk about technology, I have a small framework that I use to categorize technology. And it's not just technology, actually, including both technology and AI. Even AI falls under that. Anything technology driven, I said, one thing you must know is that first, I think I should share that screen briefly and just talk about that before I bring up, and I'll just set up for the next speaker. So our next speaker is going to talk to us about something, but I'll lay a foundation that brings him in. When you think technology and AI, 3 things you need to know. One is that it is neutral. This thing is neither good nor bad. You determine what you make of it. So today we're talking about AI, reactive AI, limited memory AI. These things, they are neutral. And I love the example that Banji gave when he says, it's like God was thinking, I want to give people microchip. But we that were probably God's people who could take these inventions were not readily available. Maybe we were very busy. And so God gave it to whoever was available and was ready. And if you understand how God works, really, God is not limited by the readiness of the church. Even though the church is going to have a role to play, God in his nature is just looking for who has the structure and the system to implement what I want to do. That is why he can give a dream to Pharaoh, even though the interpretation lies with Joseph. Pharaoh was not born again. Pharaoh was not but how come God will invade a pagan king? Because Pharaoh had the systems, Pharaoh had the structures to actually implement. God needed to preserve a generation. And he wondered, Who can I give this dream to that can actually create food and store food and protect food that can preserve my people? If the guy who had the system and structure was a non-born again king, God does not mind. God gave it to Pharaoh. I said, Pharaoh, see what I want to do. Even though he made Pharaoh confused, so Pharaoh had to go and call Joseph and say, okay, Joseph, I don't know what to do. Come on. Eventually, Joseph implemented, but God will not limit the agenda for his time, what he wants to do, because the church is not ready. If there's nobody who has built the structure, if none of us was ready to build an AI or build technologies, God will give it to people, and then later on we'll come and get it from them and do what he needs to do with it. So just as an aside, technology is neutral, AI is neutral. We determine what we do with it. Secondly, it's an enabler. And in the next session, we're going to start seeing what it can actually do. It has the potential to accelerate and scale anything you are doing. Music ministry, media ministry, missions, Bible translation, whatever it is you do, you can be working manually. When technology and AI comes in, it gives speed and acceleration to whatever you are doing. And so it's neutral, it enables what we are doing, and lastly, it is evolving. It keeps changing. So we don't get too used to what is available. Imagine that you've gotten too used to technologies of 5-6 years ago, and today we've changed the game and saying, no, you know what, I'm tech savvy. But your tech savvy is that you're using To Go and you're using BlackBerry. So you are tech savvy. Because at some point, To Go and BlackBerry were the cutting edge tech of their day, but it has moved today. We cannot play catch up. I just love that lineup. We cannot play catch up. We have to be at the cutting edge. So this sets technology up for us. Understand that we can use it because God is the creator of it. God is the author of it. God is the owner of it. It can scale whatever we are doing. It does not matter what category of ministry you are in. This can give you acceleration, speed, and scale. And while we use today's technology, we have to remember that it's evolving. So we have to keep on going. Now, let's come back into what we're trying to do today, talking about ministry growth. And whether it's ministry you're doing or business, in one of my posts on Facebook, I said, the principles are the same. Unfortunately, businessmen take these principles and apply it to business. In our company, we use AI very well. We're using these things very, very, very well. I mean, I heard somebody who has connected his ChatGPT to his email. So when he receives email, ChatGPT has learned how he replies, has studied his emails, maybe the past 1,000 emails he has sent, studied his voice, learned his voice. When he receives email, ChatGPT responds to the email and keeps it in drafts. So he does not send it. So he just comes at the end of the day, and every email has a prepared response in draft. So he reviews the email. If he likes it, then he sends it. So he's not, he has cut
Please,
down.
I need that one. That's what I need right now.
When I talk about automation, we're going to talk about automation tomorrow. How can you connect different apps together? There are tools where you can actually take your email, take your Google form, take your ChatGPT, take everything and connect and say, okay, if this happens on this app, then this happens. If I get a DM on Facebook, I want you to respond. I want you to do this. You can actually automate apps. So tomorrow we can talk about automation and a lot of things. But these are, it may look like it's very small, but think about this. This guy says he saves 1.5 to 2 hours every day that he spends reading and responding emails. Or rather, yeah, the time he spends thinking of what to write, here he's just reviewing a draft and sending. If you can save 2 hours every day, let's not even say 2 hours, let's even say 1 hour every day. If you are a heavy reader and maybe you have a transaction like maybe 2 hours, you can save 1 to 2 hours every day. In a week, you are saving 5 to 10 hours. So that's about 7 to 8 hours saved every day. That's a full work day you get back every week, simply because you use tools and technologies. If you can get back 1 day every week, in 30 weeks, you've gotten back 30 days. So it's like having a bonus 1 month. It's like living 13 months. When everybody is living 12 months, you can live 13 or 14 months simply because you can cut down on time. When I would say this is an enabler, it can scale and accelerate what you are doing. You just need to know how. And that's why you are here. That's what we're going to be showing you over today and tomorrow. But yeah, so talking about growth, like I said, the principles are the same. The things we do in business, ministry people can do it. So when we're talking about growth, what are some drivers of growth? Key drivers of growth, whether you are doing a business or you are in ministry, these 3 elements need to be there for growth to happen. And number 1 is that there's problem solving, meaning whatever you are doing is actually responding to a need. Ministry need or business need or human need, If your ministry is not responding to a human need, you know that you really don't have a ministry. You might think you have a ministry, but your ministry does not have that human touch. So whatever it is you are doing, it must be able to connect to people. It has to be about people. There must be something it's doing. So let me just take the liberty. I think I have, because I understand, I seem to know almost everybody in the room here. So I can actually take liberty and say, okay, I know what this person is doing. Our sister here, Iboro Ipeme, runs a non-profit, a humanitarian outfit. Medical outreaches on the underprivileged people. You are doing something to serve people. You call it ministry, but people's lives are being changed by it. Our brother Nia and his team, Mission Enablers, you have multiple expressions. You're supporting missionaries, but you have an arm of your ministry called CEF, Children Education Fund, helping indigent children, helping education trust. I mean, things, your ministry is touching people's lives. Pastor Sobi is here, you're in teenage ministry, whatever it is you are doing, you are actually touching the lives of people. Your ministry, Children Empowerment Fund, thank you. So I knew somebody was going to correct me. I say Children Education Fund, right? Or something. Somebody I say, yeah, Children Empowerment Fund. But the fact is, your ministry must be solving a problem. Even if you are preaching the gospel, that preaching the gospel is either solving the problem of sin and salvation, or it's empowering people. See, the gospel is God's power to salvation. It saves the sinners and transforms the lives of the saved. So your gospel does not have to stop at salvation. It needs to be able to transform people's lives and help them to live to their optimum. So there has to be problem solving. Then it joins with communication. How do you reach people? How do you let people know what you are doing? You have an outreach. You have, I mean, right now, CEF is doing a back to school fund, right? Back to school drive. Is it CEF? Is you guys right? Yes. So you're doing the back to school drive. Raising funds to support missionary children and do stuff. Gospel Aid Initiative, periodically, you go out for medical outreaches. So the last time I knew about it, that they had people in the hospital who needed to pay for surgeries. There were people who have lost their homes, who have lost their businesses, and they're raising funds. How do you get people to partner with what you are doing? Because these are the things that drive growth. If you can't have partners to join you, can't people support your ministry, can't people join what you are doing, there is no growth. So leave AI first. These are the core foundations: problem solving, communication, and visibility. People need to see you. People cannot support what they don't see. They can't support what they don't know. They can't support what they're not aware of. That's why you have exhibition. That's why you go for outreach. So you go to places, and I was in the last conference and I saw that Mission Enablers had a stand. Please, can our host help us check who is unmuted so that we the last time, I mean, we're trying to drive visibility. We go to places, so you're posting on social media. Why do you have a social media account as a church? It's visibility you want to have. What are you saying there? It's communication. And so these are three elements. I mean, this is not exhaustive, but these are three key drivers of growth. Now the question is, how do we use technology, AI, to improve problem-solving capacity, to improve the quality of our communication, and to improve visibility? And so tomorrow, we're going to have our brother George. He's going to talk to us about the science behind going viral. Why are you making posts and making posts and making posts, and all your posts, 2, 3, you can't check the visibility. You have 2,000 followers, but only 7 people are seeing your post and engaging your post. There is a science behind it. The algorithms have a way they function. And Mr. George is going to take us deep into that, help us understand that. But for today, how do we improve problem-solving communication with artificial intelligence? And I'm just going to start from the lowest hanging fruit, easiest. Everybody in this room, there's one tool you either already know or you need to know. And it's a tool called ChatGPT. I'm just going to dive into that. And so I'm setting up now. David is going to come in a second. David Ajibade is going to come in like 5 minutes, talk to us about something. But the first tool, which I think is the Zitromax of AI. When I say Zitromax, let me tell you where that comes from. So if you have a child, you know Zitromax. So we have this pediatrician, a very good friend of ours. When our kids were very small, when Ayo was small, each time she's sick, we call Dr. Ekong. Dr. Ekong, Ayo is ill. And what is she? Is she coughing? Is she this? Buy Zitromax. The next time, whatever I will call him, at some point it was like almost every symptom she had, Zitromax could solve that problem. So one day I was traveling in a bus and my wife called and said, hey, I say, what's wrong with her? How are you going to what? Buy Zitromax. A guy beside me was a doctor. And because he heard the way I was asking questions and prescribing Zithromax, he now said, I didn't know you're my colleague or you're a doctor. I said, bros, I'm not a doctor. I'm a pastor. I just have happened to have known that there's one drug that cures almost every child disease. It's an antibiotic that is like the bubonic of children disease. I consider ChatGPT the Zithromax of AI, meaning it has the capability to do a lot of things. It's a very simple tool. I don't think there's anybody here who does not know ChatGPT or who does not have ChatGPT, but I'm not going to assume. Assuming you are here and you don't know what ChatGPT is, that's why I have this website here. Just go to your browser now. If you're on your phone, go to the next app. If you are on an Android phone, go to the Play Store, just download the app ChatGPT. It is simply this chatbot that can answer any question about almost anything. You can generate ideas, you can refine ideas, you can draft strategy, you can prepare sermons, you can be interactive, you can do all manner of things with ChatGPT. Many of us here use it already. However, many of us are using ChatGPT at level 1. ChatGPT has like 7 levels. So it has like up to level 7. But the average person I have seen using ChatGPT uses it at like basic level. So you have a question, you go and say, ChatGPT, what is the answer to this? That's why when you post something, we can easily tell it is ChatGPT. There is one skill that actually gives you superpowers for ChatGPT. It's something called prompt engineering. I'm going to type it in the chat box. Prompt engineering. That is actually the power of AI. The ability to create context and give AI the right context in which to give you. So this guy can do everything. It's like you go to see a doctor. The doctor can only prescribe a medication based on what you told him. If you told him that you have headache and you're on temperature, he can only give you a prescription based on that. The amount of information you give the doctor determines what he can tell you. Many of us, we don't know how to give AI the kind of information. What are the types of information I need to give it so that it can give me a very tailored, near human response? So what I'm going to do now is David Ajibade is in the room. He's going to take us on the next 15 to 20 minutes on that concept called prompt engineering. But before I invite him, I want to just do something. Number one, I want to confirm. Let me stop my share. How many of us here, if you already know how to use ChatGPT, type 1 in the chat box. You already use ChatGPT, you know ChatGPT, just type 1 in the comment section. Type 1. If you have not known how to use ChatGPT before now, type 2. So you know ChatGPT, you can use it, type 1. You are new to it, this is Greek, you are like, oh, what is this thing? I'm just hearing for the first time. Type 2. Let me know where people are in the room so that we're able to know whether I should spend any time explaining, okay, we have a 2 in the room. Great. Please make sure you type. If you're in the room, make sure you respond, whether it's 1 or 2. If it helps, and I'm glad somebody has it. We have a 2.
Doesn't matter the level, or as long as you shall know it. The level that you're operating doesn't matter.
Leave level for now. Level is going to come later. We're going to address level. Okay, so we have a couple of 2s. Okay, the way Pastor Posh is asking that question is like you are afraid of your 1, whether your 1 is a 1 or a 2. But no, I don't think you should be in a. I know you should be at level, but not to worry. So for those who are just using ChatGPT for the first time or are hearing for the first time, I want you to do something. Because this is a workshop, we don't want to make any assumptions. I'm going to show you how basic ChatGPT works. Emeka says, yes, so we are not sure if of our level, but at least you shall know it. That is, you're already in a 1. Now, for those who just know it at a knowing level, now I'm going to share my screen and just show you basically what ChatGPT is and what it can do. Then David is going to take us into prompt engineering. So what you have on my screen right now is my simple ChatGPT window. Basically, it is this page or this app that can answer any questions. Now, for those who are just hearing for the first time, just on your phone, go to the Play Store and download, just look for this word, ChatGPT. It is the simplest, but I think one of the most versatile AI tools that we can use. Many AI tools are narrow. They are used for just video editing, for just text to speech or whatever. But this guy is powerful enough that can do a lot of things. So this is my ChatGPT. I can ask any question. I can simply say, I want to prepare, or okay, let me just go straight to the point. Prepare a sermon for me with the topic. Can somebody give me a topic? Any topic in the room. Just say it out, type it, or
moving converts to disciples.
Okay, moving converts to disciples. Now I just press enter. This is like very elementary AI questioning. There's no skill, there is no. Okay, can I write with words? Okay, I type, okay, just chat GPT. Yes, that is it in the chat box, Pastor Gilbert. Pastor Gilbert is joining us from Tanzania. We have persons from, I think we have like 3 countries represented in the room here, though we are just few, but this is fantastic. So yes, moving converts to disciples. It just gave, okay, it's still giving me. So here's my sermon coming. Text, Matthew 28, 19 to 20, Great Commission, introduction. Begin with the story analogy of the difference between starting something and finishing it, like planting a seed versus growing a tree. Understanding the Great Commission, characteristics of a disciple, the role of the church in discipleship. Now, it gave me a very blanket sermon. However, there is a way I will ask this same question, and the response is going to give me will be totally different. That is what prompt engineering is. So what I just gave to ChatGPT here is called a prompt, P-R-O-M-P-T. The prompt is basically the instruction you give to your AI tool. That is what prompt is. And the quality of responses you will get from your AI tool is a function of the quality of prompts you give. Just so I am sure that David is ready to come on. Pastor Gilbert, have you found the app on the Play Store? Pastor James, have you found the app on the Play Store? Pastor Memobong, I want to be sure that the people who are 2 have found ChatGPT on their phones right now, so that when David starts, it's going to be very hands-on and practical. There'll be things that we can do. Why is my hand up? Okay, I'm the one raising hand. I'm the one. Okay. Okay. Pastor Gilbert, have you found ChatGPT on your phone? I need your confirmation, please. Pastor Memobong, Pastor Dave, James, at least the 3 of you who had 2. Want to be sure you're on the same page with us. No response from you, please. We need a confirmation. So we don't want to leave you behind. Okay, I want to assume that they are on it. And if you need any questions, if you have any issues, even if you can't get it, don't worry. That's why the WhatsApp community is there. We'll be able to help you to get on board on it. At this point, I want to invite David Ajibade, who's going to take us on the next short session on how do you use ChatGPT? How do you move from using ChatGPT at level 1 to going to level 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7? What are the skills that you need to be able to use so that you can improve the quality of value and response you get using AI? So help me make welcome. Yeah, I think some persons are already getting here. Thank you, Pastor James. Help me make welcome David Ajibade as he takes the next session. So David, you have the floor.
All right. Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. And it's really a privilege to be here. Thank you, Pastor David, and thank you, everybody. So before we get started, I want to quickly apologize for 2 things. Number 1, I stayed a bit late at the office trying to work on a few things, lost track of time, and I'm not really in my space, so I can't use my video right now. My sincerest apologies for that. And number 2, I don't know how I managed to miss that, but I just assumed that everybody would know where what ChatGPT is. But then again, I think I've been saved by Pastor David. Thank you again for that introduction, and thank you.
David, you've muted yourself. Dave, we can't hear you anymore.
How about now?
Yeah, you're back.
Can you still see the screen, please?
Yes, we can see your screen now.
All right. So I want to quickly talk about prompt engineering. So I want to first of all start by telling us that, guys, this is a real skill. It is something that people actually go out of their way to learn. It has courses on the various online course platforms that we know, Coursera, Udemy. I mean, it's not just there. It's a real skill that people go to learn and people actually use. All right. So what really is prompt engineering? So we're talking about okay, so I have been trained, right, as a computer programmer, and really what programming is giving instructions to a computer. Now, in the previous session, we learned the kind of AI that ChatGPT is. ChatGPT is generative AI, and that essentially comes from the word generate, meaning that it can provide you with images, with text, with videos based on how it has been trained, or based on the modules it has been trained with in the past. Now, the GPT there stands for generative pre-trained transformer. So what that necessarily means is based off the feedback, based off what you give it, it gives you feedback. So it learns from what you give to it as a query or a prompt in this case. So it learns from the prompt you give it, and then it provides you with answers. Now remember, so for it to be able to create all of these things, it takes some kind of power. Now remember that human beings are essentially the creatures with that kind of power to create. So when people say this is evil, it is not necessarily evil. It is neutral. It is an extension of whoever is using it. Remember, right? Genesis 1:28 says, "Be fruitful, multiply the earth, and govern it." So that necessarily means that we are the ones controlling what we use. All right, and it is just an extension of the creative power of a human being, just like the binoculars, for example, are an extension of man's power of sight, or how our reading glasses are an extension of that, or hearing aids help us to hear better. Right? All you need to do is, based on what you have in your mind, give it a prompt, and then it gives you something in return. So a prompt is basically like asking questions. And the problem most times is when we give these prompts, we do not get what we necessarily want. James 4:3, you ask and you do not receive, essentially. So you ask for something, but you do not get it the way it is supposed to come, right? And this small session essentially is supposed to help us fix that. How do you put a prompt and make sure that you get exactly what you want as an answer? So now, if we have this power to create by simply asking questions, it essentially has solved the problem of creation, right? Well, no. If we have a tool that solves problems and answers questions for us, the new problem is now it is not the ability to be able to perform the task or do the work. It is now to be able to sit from the position of the end to determine how the work is supposed to be done and if it is done properly. So now it is not, so if someone asks you to write a letter, for instance, writing the letter is not the new task. The new task is examining the letter as the receiver and knowing if it was written well. All right. So let's take this example, for instance, right? Now, this is a true life story and it just happened a few days ago. So we're in the office, we have something we want to do for a client. And first of all, it is time bound. So it was about closing time. We wanted to do it quickly, right? And we needed something that we could actually use that day. In fact, the deadline was before we leave the office. Let's just get this thing done. And so we had two prompts, and I'm going to show them in the next slide. So these are the two prompts. Which one do we think is better? So let's call the one on the left prompt A and the one on the right prompt B. You can leave your answers in the chat box. I would go through them and maybe just get your opinion on that. But initially, when I first put it, so again, take note of the fact that it was the end of the day, you know, I was really slouchy, really tired. and I just put in anything there, Sha, and I got this. And when I saw it, I immediately jacked back up to life, and I was like, Kilele, what could this be? And I took some time to kind of restructure the prompt and get the one we have on the right, which is response B. So now the new question is, how do we write these prompts, all right, to make sure that we get exactly what we want? Now remember, the problem is not doing the work, it is sitting at the end from the beginning. All right, so sitting at the end is not necessarily fully theoretical like that. There are steps you can take to make sure that the result you get from a prompt is exactly the result you want. And we can do this with these 5 very practical steps. All right, so the first is you talk to AI like you would talk to a person. So one of the most interesting discoveries I made while learning to prompt is, like I mentioned earlier, we are trained as software engineers and we are used to programming, right? So you program a computer, you make a computer do what you need it to do, essentially by programming. But in this case, is not really like that. So you need to speak with it like you will speak to a child, or like you will speak to an assistant, right? And I prefer using a child because you need a lot of explaining to give a child instructions. I also have some experience as a teacher, all right? So you need a lot of explaining to give a child instructions. So if you want a bowl from the kitchen, and you want to send your child, right? You have to explain, it is the blue bowl, it is the round bowl, it is the one at the bottom of the cabinet. You need to give those descriptions, and you need to do it in a way that doesn't seem like you are programming it. It needs to seem like you are talking to it. And I'm sure that many of us can relate with that example. So it's more like speaking with an assistant, like I mentioned earlier, or speaking with a child. You want to give your assistant a task, you need to mention what you need to get done, how you need it done, at what time you need it done, in what manner you want it done. All those specifics are necessary, all right, to have a good prompt. All right. Next up, you need to set the stage, all right, and provide the context. All right, so context is, sorry, give me a minute. All right, so context again is very important in giving prompts. So I mean, let's even just use this example. I have an example in the next slide that can illustrate that. So we can see 2 prompts, prompt A and prompt B. So prompt A says, I want a sermon on love. And prompt B says, I am a pastor of a youth church in Nigeria and I want a sermon on love. We are doing our relationship week and I need something to just teach them love. So I want to get your perspective on this. Do we think our answers here will be different? How different do you think our answers will be? In fact, if there's someone here so I need someone to kind of like imagine what the response for prompt A and the response for prompt B will look like. Maybe just one person, maybe in a minute. Can anybody volunteer to do that for us?
Okay. I think for me, the prompt A will be very generic. Okay. And then the prompt B will be very tailor-made and very contextualized. So number 1, a youth church that is in Africa, that's in Nigeria. And then, talk about the relationship week and stuff like that. So one is generic and one is more specific.
You want to give an example of something that would be mentioned in the generic context? Can you give an example? Okay, so that we don't burn so much time.
Just talking about love, God is love and all of this kind of stuff. It doesn't relate to youth. It doesn't relate to relationship. Basically, exactly. You could talk about, all of that. But the second one, we talk about speaking specifically to youth, and then maybe kind of even use some Nigerian lingua, it's very possible. And then all of this kind of stuff.
Exactly. And guys, that is very, very accurate. So if you look at the 2 responses, I just had this added to the slides today. So you can see this is the response from prompt A, I mean, the greatest commandment is love, for God so loved the world, the source of God's love, and all that kind of stuff. But if this is not the context you are coming from, this is not very useful to you. It is a good sermon nonetheless, but it is not useful to you. All right. And now look at what the prompt B looks like. The prompt B is more like answering the question of, I mean, healthy relationships. So if you are talking to youth and you are doing more or less like a relationship with, this is something that would probably sit more in the context. So while you are doing something, you need to create the context so that the AI can understand where exactly you are coming from and create a response that suits that context. Okay, now moving on. Number 3, AI can be anything you want, and it can switch professions, it can switch views, and it can answer questions coming from a particular point of view. I think this also ties with our first point in giving a solid description of what you want to achieve, all right, and putting it down there in plain text. So if you are making a prompt, the most minute things matter. So if you are maybe searching for is education better than money, for example, if you include that you are coming from the perspective of a debate and you are on the opposing side, the response will be different, and you can actually ask it to come at you from the proposing side. So it can take the form and the shape of anything or anyone that you want it to kind of mimic or represent. So this can even be professions, this can be standpoints, this can be, of course, abortion as a pastor, all right, will not be spoken about in the same manner or in the same way as abortion will be spoken about by a doctor or by a politician, because those views are different. So as a pastor, you might assume, and I'm just saying this anyways, you might just assume that, okay, abortion is wrong because God is the origin of children. As a doctor, is just a normal stuff that you do in the hospital. As a politician, depending on the standpoint of the people, all right, of where you are, of the region you are, it can differ. So these standpoints actually give your prompt more flesh that it can use to generate a better response for what you want to achieve. All right. Number 4, choose your voice and don't just accept anything the AI gives you. So a major problem of AI in general is that it lacks emotion. All right. But that's not true about you, and that's not true about me. All right. Everybody has a voice. There is a certain way that we can say the same thing. All right. We can preach the same sermon of God is love. All right. And it will be 3 different sermons coming from 3 different people if we actually put 3 different people to take on that task. The reason is people are not the same. People have emotions. People put themselves in what they do. All right. So someone might be more passionate about that subject than the other. Someone might be more knowledgeable than the other. So when you get these prompt feedbacks, all right, you don't just need to accept it the way it comes. So for a while now, I've been using AI to respond to my emails, and I have a particular window or a particular memory slot saved for responding to emails because I have actually trained it, all right, to be able to pick out my voice when responding to emails. So if I'm sorry and I want to reply in the email as someone who is sorry, you would actually hear my voice in it. And it's somehow subtle sometimes, but when you get it right, you actually see yourself saying those things. There are some words that some people use that, I mean, you just say it, you just no. This is ChatGPT now. You cannot, I mean, there are those ChatGPT words. That's how we call them in our place of work. So this is looking quite ChatGPT. All right, it's now a term for that robotic feeling because people have now not been able to learn how to detach themselves from, or detach their voice essentially from the voice of artificial intelligence. All right, and look at this example on this slide. So now we're trying to say the same thing, forgiveness. We're trying to talk about forgiveness, but these are 3 voices. You can actually hear the same message, but in different patterns from these 3 voices. Can somebody confirm that that's true?
I have to read it. Give us time to read it.
Oh, okay. I apologize.
Yes, sir.
So, but maybe I would share the slide later, and maybe you can actually look through some of the statements made here. You can see that you will see that the message is passed, is the same message, but you can actually almost hear someone else. You can almost hear a different voice. You can almost hear a different pattern, a different speech pattern. All right, saying this message, and that is the power of voice. It doesn't make sense to have things done, but to not have people believe that it's you. Or I was reading an article on the internet the other day, and we're talking about this apology letter that someone wrote, and the girl just said you could not have written this. I mean, so it was from a friend, so she could actually decipher on the spot that no, you didn't write this. This was because the letter lacked the voice of the friend, and this friend could actually pick that up in an instant. So that is the power of voice. Every time you make a prompt, you need to make sure that that prompt has your voice in it. It has an element of who you are, the kind of words you can say. All right. I don't think anybody has had me say, funny how I'm trying to remember all those ChatGPT words now, and I'm finding it very difficult. But you can almost tell when you see them, when you hear them. Sir?
Let's delve into the world of AI.
Let's delve in. Let's jump in.
Sorry. When you're talking, David, when you're talking voice, are you talking about our personality? Because when you're talking voice, that's what I'm saying. You're talking about, does this really speak about?
Yes, it's talking about your personality.
And your person, personal.
Yes. So voice in that sense is more like a marketing term. It's more like a branding marketing term. So your voice essentially kind of takes a tone of your personality. All right. So that's actually what we mean voice. So you must actually add a little bit of instruction that communicates your personality. So some.
Oh, David, we lost your screen share. Oh, I think we lost David.
We didn't lose him. We lost his connection.
David, come back.
That's a ChatGPT answer.
Yeah, but you're getting the point David is making, right? That
absolutely very, very good.
Yeah, you can actually determine the tone ChatGPT will give you based on the kind of information you give it in the prompt. So if you don't tell it who you are, it won't even determine your tone. But you can actually, I mean, David, once you come in, collect your microphone. No, I'm just filling in for you. Basically, in the prompt, you are setting up the stage for ChatGPT. In fact, sometimes you can take an entire paragraph describing who you are and your context, so that the AI understands clearly what kind of tone it should give when speaking as you. So one thing with prompt engineering is that your prompt there's no length limit to your prompt. Your prompt can be 2 paragraphs, 3 paragraphs. In fact, the longer, the better. That's the rule in prompt engineering. The longer your prompt, the better the AI understands what you are saying and who you are. So, okay.
Write your biography before you start.
You can actually give it a biography. Yes. Oh, I'm a missionary and I have 30 years experience in banking before I moved into ministry. All of those things, so that when it is writing for you, it will sprinkle ministry language with some banking terminologies that will sound like who you are. If you didn't tell it that part, that you have a background in banking and that this is your ministry and this is what you're doing. But sometimes I said, oh, I grew up in a French-speaking country before I moved into an English country. Therefore, that's not useless information in prompt engineering. That is very vital tool that actually creates an original voice for who you are. And sometimes to describing the audience clearly. Oh, my audience like that, okay, about love. My audience are 12 to 19-year-olds who are mostly in high school, are living in Africa. And the more context you give it, the more it can tailor that sermon about love to who your audience specifically is. Can someone help us check on David? Let's know that.
So is it possible when David is talking, maybe you as well, to highlight some of the things that we can put in the prompt engineering? Like, for example, talking about your personality, describing your audience, describing the topic, the context. At the end, do you have a list of some of those things that can guide us when we are putting out those things?
Let me give you a hack. Let me give you a hack. Let me show you a ChatGPT hack. Look at the screen now. This is one of the best hacks that I discovered because ChatGPT is conversational. You can ask it questions, it can respond. So tell ChatGPT what you want it to do rather, and ask it to tell you the information it needs in your prompt and use it in the prompt. So, for example, you want it to give you social media content for 30 days or for 20 days or for 15 days. Oh, tell it, oh, ChatGPT, I run a mission mobilization. I run a ministry. I want you to create social media content for me for Instagram and for LinkedIn and for Facebook. I want to add blah, 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 blah. Ask me, what information do you need from me to be able to tailor my content specifically? The first response it will give you 4 or 5 questions telling you, oh, tell us your mission, tell us your audience, tell us the platform you want to post on. It will actually tell you those questions. You know what? Let me open my ChatGPT and let's try this hack. So you actually see how it. I mean, for me, that's like the best hack when it comes to generating very customized and tailored content. Oh, David is back. David is back.
David is back, sir.
Yes. So collect your mic.
Okay. Thank you very much. Sorry, my network threw me out. I don't even know at what point I got logged off.
Just continue.
Okay.
Wait, just like take yourself back 2 minutes and then resume from there.
Okay, so 2 minutes talking about voice, right? Just like Pastor Nee said. So voice essentially is just your personality. So add a little bit of your personality to whatever prompt that you are creating. All right. I'm actually now afraid of sharing my screen, but let me just even give it a go again. Let's see, window, Chrome tab, presentation. All right, so it's
We have your screen, but we don't have your voice.
okay, just to confirm, we can hear me now, yes?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so practice using AI. All right, so now the more we prompt, the more familiar we are with how prompting works. So it's just like every skill in normal life, really. So
Sorry, David. Sorry, you didn't talk about the fifth step.
Yes. So this is the 5th step, actually. This is the last step. So you need to practice prompting. All right. So it's just like trying to learn a new skill, trying to learn a new habit, right? It comes with consistency and with discipline. So the more we try to create prompts, the better we are good at it, or the better we are at it, rather. And you see that after a while, you begin to understand the way the AI responds. Now, while you try it out, you need to pay attention to not only what it generates, but how it generates it. All right. What mistakes does it make? How does it often misunderstand you? All of that will, because in the end, all right, while this is a general skill, it is also a personalized skill. People need to master their own way of prompting. So there is learning how to prompt in the general sense, but there is also learning how to prompt for you based on what will work for you. And as more or less like a closing note, all right, everybody essentially needs to understand that AI is not here to make us lazy.
No sound.
David, we lost your voice again.
His voice we lost though.
This looks like his last slide. AI won't replace people. The people that use AI will replace.
Okay, I think David, I don't know. Now that his screen has gone, it means we've also lost his screen. So you asked a question earlier talking about what are some of the possible things that AI that could go into a prompt. And I shared a hack. I said very simply, ask AI. Now, there's something that I think, I don't know if you mentioned, that talks about that AI is conversational, particularly ChatGPT is conversational, meaning you can ask it a question, it will respond, and it's building on the conversation. So you can say, oh, suggest 10 ideas for me on this. It will give you those 10 ideas. So, okay, no, I think these ideas are too narrow. Can you broaden the scope of these ideas? It will give you another 10. And you can say, okay, out of this 10, can you focus on number 3, number 5, and number 7? It will narrow them down. It's actually conversational. And I think it helps really if we're able to get a little bit hands-on on that. And there's actually a practice that we are going to do. So at this point, I'm going to need everybody to actually turn on your ChatGPT. I'm going to give you a small assignment that you will do. Is everybody on ChatGPT? So we're going to practice what David just taught us a little bit, because this is actually supposed to be a hands-on workshop. It's not just a theory. And just so you know, even though the live sessions are like 2 days, we don't intend to end. The idea, that's why we have the community. We want to handhold everyone till you are able to practice everything that you are learning here. So I have a little assignment on the screen. Let me just share that screen. So everybody's going to practice. I want to see how well you can actually use prompts. So hands-on workshop at this point. Choose your area of focus. Oh, I said, okay, choose any area of focus. Now, when I say any now, any becomes a function is driven by your area of interest. So if you are in social work, you probably want to talk about social work. If you are in mobilization, you want to talk about mobilization. If you are in Muslim evangelism, if you're a pastor, you're a teens ministry, youth ministry, choose any area of focus and use ChatGPT to generate 10-day social media content. Meaning you actually want to post on social media for the next 10 days, but you don't know what to say. But you want to talk about a particular area. Choose the area you want to talk about. Now, I need you to use ChatGPT to generate 10 days worth of social media content. We actually want to see, I mean, this is hands-on. If you do this, you're going to get a lot of value because there's going to be feedback, and I'm going to do one. We want to see what differentiates prompt from prompt. What are the things you can add to a prompt that can determine how far it can go? So let's do a hands-on workshop together, first of all. So let me just, oh, I canceled my screen. Let me share it back. Let me share the screen back, and then we would possibly just do one together and see how that works. So here we go. Pastor, is it to be done now? Okay, maybe let's do one together now, and then I will let you go practice on your own and try it out. So here's my
Please do mission mobilization. Mission mobilization is all issue. Thank you.
You spoke first, so we're going to use you as the example, as a hands-on example. By the way, is David back? Not yet. So David is not back. Okay. So can somebody give me, based on what we've learned from David, based on prompt engineering that we know, what can I write in my prompt right now? So this is message ChatGPT. What can I write that can prompt ChatGPT to give me 10 days worth of mission mobilization content? Okay. So at this point, we're in a workshop, hands-on lab. Unmute yourself and speak if you want to say something. And we'll see it together with
praise answer.
Okay. Good evening, sir. Good evening, everybody. I was actually typing, but that's okay. So we can have to say that I want to connect with missionaries or to missionaries in let me be specific, maybe Pakistan. Create a 10 days social media content for me. Is that okay?
Okay, what do you guys think? Do you think it's a good prompt? What can we add? Okay, you know what? Let's run this as it is.
Okay, or should I be more specific?
Well, let's see what it's giving you. Day 1, introduction and purpose. Post. Share a heartfelt message introducing yourself or your organization and your desire to connect with missionaries in Pakistan. Explain your mission, values, and why you feel called to support our partner of missionaries. Visual. A map of Pakistan with a focus on regions where missionary work is needed currently. Hashtag missionary life, Pakistan mission, faith in action. That's day 1. Day 2, discuss the spiritual humanitarian need of Pakistan. So who can tell me what you think of this response? Anybody? It tells you what to post, tells you the idea of picture to use, gives you the hashtag. What do you think of this response?
I think we can still dive in a little bit deeper and kind of really get a much more personalized stuff, and then maybe not speaking to our own organization, what we do as well too, So it's important that we're able to put out maybe even our vision and mission and why we're doing this, and then just drive it a little bit stuff and talk about asking for, tailoring it to specific social media what's it called, platforms as well. The one that would be for Twitter, the one that would be for Instagram and Facebook and all of that, and stuff like that. There's just really a whole lot more that we could really dive in or get back from.
Fantastic. For me, as a very lazy person, what ChatGPT has done, it has given me more work. I expect you to do the work for me, not because what he's telling you is share a heartfelt message, meaning I'm the one to go and create the heartfelt message right now. Discuss the spiritual and humanitarian need of Pakistan. Share statistics and stories, meaning I need to go back and look for statistics, look for stories that illustrate the importance of missionary work in the country. But what Pastor is saying is, no, guy, go deeper. Don't just give us this, say share a video. So let's try something else. Can anybody give us an alternative prompt? So still the same one. What can we add to our prompt? Let me copy that first prompt and then we'll just modify it so that we don't have to type out everything. What do we need to add to this prompt? We'll see the response and we can compare both responses.
Okay, to say to ChatGPT, we are a mission mobilization organization that is based in Nigeria, or that's based in Nigeria. We want to connect with Christians globally and to tell them about what missionaries or what Christians and missionaries are facing in Pakistan. We want to use you to create content that will be on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, both in text, videos, text, videos, visuals, and all whatnot. Visuals that will be visuals that will be able to visuals that we can use as a content for 10 days. And that will help people to have an understanding of the people, and maybe a call to action on how they can support or participate in what they're doing.
So I just typed as you spoke. Let's see what it will give us that is different. Okay, now it's telling you, it's giving you the post-to-post per platform. So day one, Twitter. We are on a mission to raise awareness about the challenges missionaries and Christians face in Pakistan. Join us as we explore their stories and how we can help, how you can help. Hashtag mission mobilization, pray for Pakistan. Facebook, welcome to our mission journey. Over the next 10 days, we'll share insights into the lives of missionaries and Christians in Pakistan. Discover how you can be part of the solution and support their lives. Stay tuned. Same hashtags. Instagram, image, map of Pakistan with a heart or cross symbol. Meanwhile, you know that you can actually use AI to generate images too. So we're going to talk about that.
So,
how to use AI.
David, for us, as this comes up, then we, for example, that day one, we start to now prompt it again based on, all of the things that have told us to do. Oga, you have to answer the question the thing that you have given us. This one that I say, this, where do it, give it to us, and then just go on and on like that until he's able to finish what he has.
If you wanted that, Pastor Nee, I mean, by the way, can you guys see the difference between the first response and the second response?
Yeah.
They are not at the same level. The first one, AI gave you the work to go and do, meaning this guy can do more work, but it's simply giving you what you asked it. You told it, tell me I want to post about, tell me what to post, and it told you what to post. Now you said, I want to post on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and it's giving you specific posts for each of the days and for each of the platforms, meaning those who are on Instagram will see a different thing, those who are on Twitter will see a different thing. However, now, because it says, remember that Instagram uses images and all of that, we can actually tell it and say, okay, let me copy, let me even take that entire prompt, and let's even make it, let's make it better. Let's see what we can do to make it better. Now, where are our level 4 and level 5 ChatGPT users? What can we do to make this better? Let me not make it better. Let me get somebody else to tell me what to do. So what can we do? Because now he has said we can actually, now it's telling us what kind of image to get. How do we even get it to give us even up to the image? Now, I can just simply, what you have given me now, let me just add one sentence to it, Pastor Posh, so you can see a difference. Put the responses in a table, right? And add a column for the Instagram, how do you spell Instagram? Instagram post with a prompt for an AI image generation. Okay, prompt for an AI image generator, which will give me the exact image that you suggested for Instagram. Now, I simply took the last prompt and I did this, but I simply said, put the response in a table. You see this guy? So now the same response, but now I have it in a table. And for the Instagram post, it's telling me, okay, AI image prompt for Instagram. A map of Pakistan with the heart of the cross symbol overlaid, representing love and faith with a subtle warm color palette to convey hope and compassion. Now, when I simply copy this prompt and go to an image generator and paste it, it will give me the image that goes with what this Instagram post is saying. See what it now, because AI is generating prompt for AI, see what it added, representing love and faith. It's telling the generator, while you are generating image, let it represent love and faith with a subtle warm color palette to convey hope and compassion. So really, it's as far as you can go. David quoted the scripture, says, ye asked and received not, because ye ask amiss. Basically, what you get from this guy is a function. See, it's still working. It has given us 10 days post. Our 10 days post of this, it offers comprehensive, blah, blah, blah. If you don't like any part, any change you make to your prompts changes the quality of response that you will get. So if you add more prompt and say, oh, in fact, if you give it more details, It will give you more. Now, let me give you the last hack I told you. I told you that there's a hack here. Now, let's take all of this. Now, look at this. I'm going to add. Before you generate the responses for me, what questions would you need me to answer to enable you create tailored and specific responses, content that both resonates with my audience and represents my organization? Now, same prompt, but I just told it before you don't be in a hurry. Don't start giving me 10 days social media content. What do you want me to tell you that will enable you give me the correct thing? Now, see, it's asking me to create tailored and specific content that resonates with your audience and represents your organization effectively. Here are some questions I will need you to answer. Question 1, target audience. Who exactly is your primary audience? Are they primarily Christians, church leaders, missionaries, young adults, or a mix? What countries or regions are you mainly targeting outside of Nigeria? So now in my prompt, I'm telling it, oh, my target is people in XYZ country who are Christians, church leaders, this. Number 2, that's organizational values and messaging. What core values and messages do you want to communicate through this campaign? Is there a specific tone or style you prefer in your messaging, e.g. inspirational, urgent, compassionate? Meaning, if I tell that I want inspirational and urgent messaging, that will determine how it will tailor my content. Brand and visual branding and identity. Do you have specific colors, logos, or branding guidelines that you need to be incorporated into the visuals? What type of imagery resonates? I mean, right now, look at it. Gave me 10 responses with 10 questions, meaning I can type an entire essay in response to these questions. ChatGPT will study my entire essay. By the time I give it all these answers, the 10 days content will give me ego accurate die. Accurate, as in it will, you think you won't believe that ChatGPT did that. Now, imagine the response between the first prompt, the second prompt, and the third prompt. They cannot be the same. So when I said on Facebook that we're going to show you how to use ChatGPT like a god or like a mini god, this is it now. Because the next time you actually start using ChatGPT, nobody should be able to catch it that this is GPT. Hello? Hello?
I mean, you're on. You are saying the right thing. I mean, if you can, just imagine if somebody has run with the first response, your output will be different from someone that worked with the second response, and then the person that has worked with the third response. Even though you're both using, ChatGPT, or all of you are using ChatGPT.
Yeah, you're using the same tool, but your ability. That's why I said some people are on level 1, some are on level 2. Some are on level 3, some people are on level 35. Because even though it's the same tool, we all have access. And by the way, none of us is using paid ChatGPT. All of us are using the same free ChatGPT. However, what we are able to do with it depends on the understanding that we have. So based on this now, your assignment 1 for today, which you need to submit on the group before tomorrow's session, is that question I asked. You need to create content for 10 days on social media that actually connects with what you do. Whatever organization you run, whatever ministry you are in, whatever thing you do, now I need you to create content. Whether you want it biblical based, I want to post scriptures for the next 10 days that talks about reaching Muslims in so and so place. Give me content, give me whatever. Just the way you do your prompts right now will determine how you will get responses. So is that assignment?
Do we still need to do the assignments? We've done our own assignment here together.
Let me not say that you are for. I want to play 419 for us. If you want to play, play smart one for us here.
Please change this project topic.
I should change this project topic.
I thought you are for me.
It's not a canal, please, before he cut his head off.
Okay, so now there's something I want to share also. Now, for most of us who do, okay, I'm going to share the assignment again, but just before we close, I want to also share another productivity hack. Now, this is for those, this is just like social media content. So you're creating content calendar for 10 days using ChatGPT. There's something for those who do like content creation. Pastor Sobi is here. Pastor Sobi does writing, you do maybe storytelling, whatever it is you do. Yeah, we'll share the assignment on the group. Don't worry. The assignment will be on. That's why. So if you're not on the WhatsApp platform, if you're not on the WhatsApp group, please, Ekemini, you can just drop the link to the WhatsApp group. So everybody, if you're not been added to the group yet, those of you who were added late, we apologize. But the activity is going to happen. There is a community. We really want to handhold you. We want to see how you're able to not just come for a 2-day workshop. It's not in the knowledge, it's in the application of these things. So we want to really, really see how you're able to apply them and get them. And I wanted to actually go into something around content, but we'll have 5 minutes. So let me use this last 5 minutes to actually talk about this. For those who do content, and particularly people like Pastor Sobi, anybody you do writing. Now, there are different levels to writing. There are different kinds of writing. There's something called copywriting frameworks. Let me put it in the chat box. Copywriting frameworks. Copywriting frameworks. Now, you know what copywriting is? Let me just check, because I'm sure I'm not speaking Greek. You know what copywriting is? Pastor Sobi, can you help us? Or Banji, anybody who is a copywriter, who does writing? Ekene, you guys who are in the creative. Yes, okay, praise, help us. What's copywriting?
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so let me just put it in a very simple term. So copywriting is like you're selling it, you're using your write-up to sell a product. And put it that way. Yes.
To sell an idea, to sell a mission, to sell a product, whatever it is. The fact is, if you're going to grow your ministry, remember I talked about key drivers of growth, problem solving, communication. Copywriting is a communication tool. Whatever you want to talk about, you need to be able to be persuasive, to communicate in a way people understand. Now, communication is an art. Communication is a skill. People go to university to study a course called communication art for 4 years. They're not wasting their time. There's something they are learning for 4 years. Communication art. Now, I'm just going to give you a hack. Remember that what I'm doing here today, we are not trying to give you too much theory. Just want to give you the tools that can actually enable you to start doing something productive right away. So let me briefly share something about communication. When it comes to copywriting, there's something called frameworks. Frameworks are the different tools for communicating, the different ways of communicating. So let me open a new tab. Sorry. We're about to close now, so don't be pressured. Aha, good. So okay, can you see my screen? The 10 best copywriting frameworks. Can you see that?
Yes.
Good. Now, yes. So copywriting framework is copywriting frameworks are basically the different tools that you use. Let me just, okay, what are copywriting frameworks? Okay, good. So a copywriting framework is a structured approach or template that guides copywriters in crafting persuasive and effective content. Very important. A structured approach or template that guides copywriters in crafting persuasive and effective content. And there are different frameworks. I'm going to share this link on the group. So there are 10 popular frameworks. 4 P's: picture, promise, proof, push. Either attention, interest, desire, action. Something tells me that I might be losing people right now. I don't know. Do I leave this for tomorrow, or do I just do this today?
You can go through and do it.
Tomorrow, Oriti Pastor David. Tomorrow,
I mean, you get something told me I was speaking Greek right now. You know what? So, but this is what we're going to do. Tomorrow is going to be a very low level. Tomorrow is going to be I thought I could do it in 5 minutes actually, but apparently looking at where we're coming from, I'm not sure 5 minutes is going to kill it. That's why I just thought, let me slow down. Someone says, could I get the recorded audio and video? Absolutely. You're going to get the replay of the class. Definitely. So anybody who came late, you're going to get the full replay of the class. But so what we're going to do tomorrow, now let me just give you an idea. For tomorrow, Mr. George is going to take us on what I call the science of going viral. He's going to talk about social media algorithms and how things go viral online. I'm going to talk about this same thing I'm talking about, how to use ChatGPT or AI to create killer content. When I say killer content, like content that sells your mission with the persuasion that is unbeatable. You want to sell a vision, you want to sell a product, you want to sell an idea. I'm going to give you a framework, how you can use those frameworks, and by the time you combine it with ChatGPT, you're going to be communicating like a mini god. And then we're going to do the automation thing. How do you get your apps? I'm going to show you, like what I talked about, how you can take your email, connect with the ChatGPT. When every email comes in, how does ChatGPT create a response for you and tell you response is ready? Don't worry. Pastor Emeka is saying, do we add one day on Wednesday or something? We don't know how Wednesday is going to look like. But if we need to add a third day, we're going to find a good third day and add. Because this for us, this is not business. By the way, just so you know, if we're doing this workshop for the corporate world, what they will pay is 10 times the fee that we charge it. This is ministry. The reason we actually put a gate fee here is so that we don't get people who are not serious. Anybody who can pay the amount that has come in here, we know that you are serious to learn. If we made it free, businesses are going to be full and people are going to be unserious. And we didn't want that to happen. So if we need to do a third class, maybe even a fourth class, we will do that so that we're able to cover all of these things. Just know, so don't be afraid, Pastor Emeka. I don't think that after 2 days we have ended the show. That's why we created a community, and we wanted just ministry people. This is our own way of giving back as an organization. We want to give back to the church, to the body of Christ. So if we can enable ministers, people in ministry to actually elevate what they do and exponentially increase their impact, that's our own commitment to the gospel as an organization, as a software company. So that's what we're going to do. So don't be afraid. So even if we don't cover all tomorrow, we will be able to get to cover all the things I want to cover. But so for today, I'm going to put back that assignment that I posted earlier. And we want you to do it. By the time you get your response from ChatGPT, put it in a Google document and share it on the group. So I'm going to share that assignment now. And once you get it, that will be the last thing we're going to do today. And then tomorrow, we're going to build on that. So hands-on workshop. Choose any area of focus. For mission enablers, don't do mission mobilization again. Individually now, choose a personal focus. And use prompt engineering to create 10-day social media content. Let's see how well you're able to get value out of AI using what you have learned just today. So that it's not head knowledge you gather. You just come and say, oh, they taught us five steps of prompt engineering. We don't want to mention 5 steps. How can you use it to create killer content that actually goes out there and sells your message, connects with your audience, and enables you to reach out to the people you want to reach out? Everybody who has spoken, Banji slides, David slides, they'll be available on the chat, on the WhatsApp group. If you've not joined the WhatsApp group, they've dropped the link in the message. Just click on the link and you'll find yourself in the group.